Okay, so we're now back out the spray booth over onto the main bench, and as you can see I've got it resting up on this stand. What we're going to do next is a bit of chipping. So as you can see I've got my wet palette over here, and all that is just a bit of Vallejo dark grey, bit of kitchen sponge, as you can see. I just tore a piece off. Also a good thing to use if you're going to do the sponge technique is packing sponge, which I don't think I've got any here at hand to show you, but it's the, you know, if you get resin figures or resin parts, it comes in like that black sponge, which is really good for chipping. But for this we'll just use a bit of kitchen sponge. Alright, just tear a bit off. Got it obviously in some self clamping tweezers. Alright, dip it into your paint, just try and unload as much as possible, that's the trick. Alright, so obviously I've got my kitchen towel, dab it onto the kitchen towel till you get in some nice, not too dry though, just be careful you don't overdo it because then you won't get any chips. So it's a bit of a balancing act. Alright, so what we're going to do is we're just going to concentrate on, also as well, just to make note, we're going to make steel chips. Now the body of a Land Rover, for people who don't know, is aluminium. So, you know, you've got to figure out what is obviously the steel parts and what are aluminium, because they're all going to, you know, obviously chip or wear different. So obviously these two parts here are going to be steel, chassis steel, you know, there's going to be armour plating on this one and other things like that. So just do a bit of research. You know, I have seen people in the past paint a rusty Land Rover, you know, and again, if the rust is in the right place, yeah, Land Rovers do rust, but you know, I've seen it where obviously they've done it with aluminium, which oxidizes more than rust. So anyway, enough of that. So what you're going to do is just lightly dab it on where you want it, mainly on edges, corners, things like that. Okay, so just move it out of the way. I'll do this one here because that one's in the better camera. I do apologise about the shadow, that's me. It's getting in the way, but hopefully you can see what I'm doing. Okay, so you just do a little bit of wear. Again, you can build this up. You can put your enamel rust effects on your rust effects if that's what you want to do, because again, you know, if it's gone down back to bare metal, or you can just do it into primer as well. Plenty of ways of doing it, and plenty of sort of different sort of levels. That was completely out of camera shot. It's a bit hard to see with that shadow. Just move it out of the way. So what I'll do is I'll just hold it here and then just try and get a spitting shot. So you know, crew getting in and out, that would chip. Obviously the roll cage is steel, so you can just add a few chips onto that. Again, they have equipment hanging off them, so they can be removed. Again, as you can see, I've done some on the roll cage and stuff. I'll just pull the camera back out again. Obviously, up here where the land system sits would probably get a bit of wear and tear as well. I'm just taking the Milan off to either do maintenance or change it out for something else. So yeah, it's just go around and put them in where they would be logical places. So this thing would get a lot of hammer with equipment being chucked in and taken back out again. So obviously where the machine gun mounts as well, that'll be removed on and off quite a bit. Tool clamps as well would be another. So you just work out where you want them really. So again, that's just another method of chipping that can go along with the hairspray technique that we used just earlier on, just for the dust. So it just adds another dimension, another layer of sort of wear and tear to the vehicle. So as you can see as well, I've added obviously the roll cages now in. Some of the other bits and bobs, the lights are in, and the front sort of grills on, and the light covers, protectors. Same with the back, nothing fancy with that. As the clear parts, and then obviously just Tamiya clear red and orange, just to touch them into the right sort of indicator and rear lights. Same with the the side indicators, and obviously the front indicators and the driving light. So yeah. So the final bit for this, now this is all chipped, is just we're just going to come down to the final bits of weathering. Obviously, like I showed you, the Milan system's done. And that's just going to nicely drop onto that. Get it in there. Like so. Obviously that needs sticking in, it's not a great fit, but yeah. That's going to sit on there like that. Which I'll probably just super glue into place, just to keep it into position. And then I think we're going to call this done. Next sort of part of this I'm going to do is obviously some stowage. Looking at online photos, there's a lot of stowage, and I've got the Gecko modern British weapons and personnel equipment. So that's got Bergens in it, and packs and other things like that that we can chuck in. We can put some in the front, and I think we're going to do a figure as well. So we'll get on to the final bits of weathering, and then we'll show you the final reveal. So just to finish off the chipping, I've got the trusty old Rust Streaks from AK, which is an enamel product. Just going to go over where we've done some chipping. Just add a nice touch of rust to them. Just gently just put some in places obviously where it might rust. Again, this is a less is more technique. Don't worry about any overspill like there. You just clean that up with a bit of enamel thinners when it's dry. Move it out of the way, knock it over. So as you can see, the bits on here is now dry. Got a bit of just clean white spirit, odorless thinner. Just clean the brush off. Seen me do this before on other builds, but I'll show you again. And then you just take some clean white spirit and just blend it in. Don't forget to keep just cleaning your brush. There we go. So we'll get the rest of this cleaned up, come back, and then we'll just do the final bits of dusting, which for these I'm going to use the earth deposits and the light dust, and just finish the weathering off. So let's get this weathering wrapped up with the final few steps. What I've got here in my little pot is some of the light dust deposits. As you can see, decanted that, added a little bit of odorless thinner. I'm also going to use just some cream brown for German yellow from the Abteil Lung range. Just going to take a bit of that and just put that in there as well. A lot, should just make it a bit smoother. Mix that with the enamels. With a nice consistency, not too thin. We don't want wash consistency, but we don't want it too thick either. Move the camera in a little bit, there we go. So that's the sort of consistency we've got. And what I'm going to do is just tap some on the tight threads, let the capillary action do the work. Randomly brush that on. Okay, let's get that in there. Get it all over my cutting mat. We'll just tap that onto the paper towel. Okay, and then just show you this one quick. Find something just to prop it up with. Will do. Alright, you've seen me do this technique before. Again, it's quite a standard issue, but just take a cocktail stick and just do the speckling technique and just sort of randomly flick some on down the bottom where the dust would kick up. Obviously around the wheels. Like so. And then as usual, we'll just let that dry off and then we'll blend it in. Again, just taking out odorless thinner or white spirit. You can just blend it in where we want it. Any large spots we don't like, we can just take off. Then just keep remembering to just clean your brush and unload it. Just clean up the wheels a little bit as well. Or the tyres, should I say. I tend to just brush it outwards, like, you know, with the rotation of the wheels. Get quite a nice effect doing it that way. Nice to have just clean patches as well as dirty as well. Makes it just a little bit more realistic. Let that dry off, see what we've got, and again keep going backwards and forwards until you're happy where you want to be with it. You can also just brush it on if needs be. Some more down this bottom bit. Clean brush and then just dab in motion, just blend it in. So the chipping work's done and the enamel dust wash or speckling technique is done, just to enhance all the, you know, the dust at the bottom. Okay, next step I'm going to do is enhance sort of some of the shadows that have been lost. So around this turret area, you know, anywhere where really we've kind of lost a bit of contrast. Okay, so what I'm going to do is just show you on this turret what I'm going to use. So in this little palette, I've got a dark dirt wash, a grime wash and a sand wash, which obviously are Flooring Models product. And then we've got a little bit of shadow brown oil paint from the Abteal 502 range, and then, you know, some white spirit. Yep, my brain will work in a minute. So first off, I'm going to get some dark dirt wash. So as you can see, I've got it in my palette. I'm just going to just rehydrate it a little bit. I've left it in here for about half an hour. I'll just zoom that camera in a little bit for you. So what I'm going to do is just where the turret ring would sit, I'm going to brush it around there so it makes a really nice grimy sort of stain, shall we say. So just got some, yeah, that is filthy, I know, but just some normal water. And what I'm going to do is like what I do with a oil wash, is I'm going to clean the brush. Pull that out a little bit. I've got my paper towel here. Clean the brush. So literally unload any of the wash that's left in there, and then what we're going to do is just take a damp brush, and then with a nice dabbing motion, we're just going to move the wash where we want it to be. Again, just keep unloading the brush, keep it clean. And again, for you aircraft guys, if you know, you want to add some streaks and stains and oil leaks, and this is absolutely perfect for doing that. And also if it's on top of oils as well, the Flory wash just seems to work fantastic on top of oil paint, or vice versa, to be honest. So there, as you can see, it leaves a lovely sort of grimy stain and you know, marks. Again, you can mix and match the colours if you want to use the grime and the dark dirt, or the grime and the sand, or whichever. They're all intermixable, and you can make all sort of you know, loads of different sort of shades and colours. So really versatile product. You know, anybody who's used it, you know, don't need me to sell it for you. Again, if we just put some in these corners, again, just think where the grime and the dirt and all the stuff out of the environment will collect. Okay, so you can see that there. Again, while it's still wet, clean brush, and then just manipulate it. And blend it in. Like so. So that's with the Flory wash. So we'll move back again to the oil wash, or the oil paint. Two options here. You can make a little wash up using the enamel, you know, odorless thinner or white spirit, whatever you're using, or you can just use it straight onto the brush, thick, and then place it where you want it to be, and then blend it in. So any shadows you want enhancing, or you know, if you've lost a sort of a pin wash around any of the details, you can go over it again and just bring it back. So I'm just going to make a little wash because I just want to just make a little detail on these parts here. So again, just let the capillary action do the work. Any staining can be cleaned up as well after. Same thing as I did before, it's just a normal oil pin wash. So just add another layer of dirt and grime and shadow to any part. Okay. So, like I say, if you feel there's anywhere where you just need to just, boost it a little bit on the contrast. If it's got a leaky wheel hub, or you can add the stains with that. Again, just building it up in layers. So I'll crack on, get these bits finished off. Where, like I said, I just want to boost the contrast a little bit, or add a bit more dirt and grime. And then we've got a few little bits to add. So we've got the sand sort of ramps, I think they're called, which are going to hang off the side. Mirrors to put on. And I think we're going to then we'll be alright wrapping the build up. So yeah, I'll get them done and we'll come back to show it final reveal.